What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here with as many reviews as possible, and today we're doing the first impressions of the Nike METCON 4. Alright everybody, so I just got my Nike METCON 4s in yesterday. I did a workout in them, I coached in them, I did as much walking around as I possibly could in these shoes so that I had enough information to go over a first impressions video with you guys today. Now once again, this is not going to be a full-on performance review, but I just wanted to go over some of the changes between the Nike METCON 4 and the Nike METCON 3 and answer some questions that you guys had asked me on my Instagram a little bit earlier in the day. So first off, let's start with the biggest change to the Nike METCON 4, and that is the new upper. It is this new fabric upper as opposed to the more kind of heavy duty mesh upper that they were using on the previous METCONs. And the difference about this and what lets them use the fabric now is that they have this new haptic print that resembles the outsole of the Nike METCON. There are these little star shapes and they're printed all around the toe box and high wear areas. Now the new fabric upper is a little bit more flexible than the original upper, but it's not a night and day kind of difference. You're gonna notice it if you have both of the shoes on at the same time, but who's gonna do that anyways? Now another change to the Nike METCON 4 is that instead of only 5 lace holes, there are 6 in total. You've got 4 fly wire laces, and then at the very top you have just 1 normal lace so that you can cinch the METCON 4s down a lot tighter than you could with the Nike METCON 3s. Now I actually forgot about that one until I went back and read the Nike press release for the METCON 4s, but it does actually change the fit of the shoe and it minimizes heel slip, though there is a tiny bit of heel slip still. Another change to the METCON 4s is at the TPU heel counter, where it's been reduced, and according to Nike's press release that was only for aesthetic purposes, and in my usage from one day it really hasn't changed the heel stability of the METCON 4. Now another low-key change to the METCON 4 is at the tongue of the shoe, where it has the new tri-star pattern to give you a little bit more cushion between the tongue and your foot. And the laces this time are nice and beefy, and they're not cheap like the original Nike METCON 3 laces. Another really small change is at the very front of the shoe. There's a little toe guard for your big toe, which I never really had any kind of durability issues in this area, but they added it in just in case. The swoosh on the Nike METCON 4s is also a little bit more beefy and heavy duty. It's actually like another layer to the shoe as opposed to the printed on version on the Nike METCON 3. It's real subtle, but it is definitely there. Now what hasn't changed in the METCON 4? The outsole is the same sticky rubber material that has the tri-star tread pattern, which is not a big deal in my opinion because I thought the outsole was very good before. It gripped everything, it was really good for rope climbs, and I thought it really looked cool too. Now another thing that has not changed, and that could be a good or bad thing, is the drop-in midsole. It's the exact same thing as it was on the Nike METCON 3. Same 4-foot flex grooves, same compound, same little numbers here and there. It is the exact same 4mm drop-in midsole that was found on the METCON 3s. So the possibility of the METCON 4s squeaking over time is still definitely there if it wasn't for one thing that Nike did to the interior of the METCON 4, and that is they laid another piece of fabric inside the bottom part of the shoe. And as of right now, there are no squeaks in the Nike METCON 4s, though there is a little bit of creakiness to the drop-in midsole. Now let's get back to the upper, because that's where the biggest difference lies between the METCON 3s and the METCON 4s. Now both of these shoes use the same exact silhouette. That has not changed at all, so the width of the shoes is technically the same if it wasn't for the new upper material on the METCON 4s. What Nike has done with this new upper is that they have added another layer for comfort between the top layer and the inner layer of the shoe. So now you have a more fitted feel in the toe box, which also makes the shoe a little bit more narrow. Now personally, I like this change because it makes a size 10 METCON fit a little bit better on my foot than it did with the METCON 3. It does definitely feel a little bit more fitted in the toe area of the shoe, but some people are not gonna like that. If you already had fit issues with the METCON 3s being too narrow, then you might need to actually size up for the METCON 4s. Another really small change between the shoes is that the METCON 3s weigh a little bit more than the METCON 4s. I weighed the 3s in at 10.9 ounces and the 4s in at 10.6, which is a welcome change, though it is a little small. Aesthetically speaking, I think that the new haptic design on the plush upper of the METCON 4s does look a little bit more high quality than the mesh and TPU upper of the METCON 3s. But if you were to get really far away from these shoes, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference as far as the way that the shoe looks. They still resemble each other a whole lot. Alright, so let's recap the METCON 4. So you've got the new haptic plush upper that is a little bit more flexible, it's a little bit more comfortable. Durability is yet to be determined because I just got these shoes in yesterday, but that is the main selling point of the METCON 4. Now we also have one more eyelet for the laces. We've got also much better laces, and we've got a little bit more padding in the tongue of the shoe, a little bit less of a heel counter, the same sticky rubber outsole, the same exact drop-in midsole, and we have a fabric layer inside of the shoe to keep the METCON 4s from squeaking. The fit of the METCON 4s is going to be better or worse depending on who you are. The new plush upper is going to be worse for people that had width issues, but it's going to be better for people that had a little bit of space in their METCON. Personally, it works out for me, but I see this not working out for people with wider feet. Alright, now subjectively speaking about the METCON 4s, what do I actually think about these shoes only after having used them for one day? So the METCON 3s were an amazing shoe, and there really wasn't a whole lot to fix on that shoe in my opinion because it was just really good. And between that and the METCON 4, there's not a whole lot of difference. The upper is definitely a little bit more flexible, it's a little bit more comfortable, it feels a little bit more fitted, but you wouldn't notice the difference unless you had both of the shoes on, and like I said, no one's gonna do that. I never really had a heel slip issue with the METCON 3s, so I didn't actually notice the lacing configuration change on the METCON 4s until I went back and read the press release. When I worked out in the METCON 4s, they were extremely stable, they were responsive, but they felt exactly like the METCON 3s did, which is not a bad thing because those were already an amazing shoe, but will make you think twice about needing to upgrade to the METCON 4s unless you had some kind of issues with the durability of the Nike METCON 3s, or you just like the way that the METCON 4s look. The METCON 4s retail for the same exact $130 that the METCON 3s did, but right now you can get METCON 3s for $75 off Nike.com with the 25% off coupon, which makes getting that shoe an amazing value, and I definitely recommend just picking up some METCON 3s if you already haven't. At $75, it's a no-brainer. But for $130, if you're coming from a METCON 3, the upgrade to me right now is probably not worth it to the METCON 4s. I would actually spend a little bit more and just go with the DSX Flyknit 2s because I think those are a different shoe and they perform a little bit differently, whereas the Nike METCON 3s and the METCON 4s are pretty much the same exact shoe. Now once again, these are my first impressions of the METCON 4s. I've only used these shoes for one day. The full-on performance review is going to come hopefully as soon as possible, but if you guys had any questions about the METCON 4s, feel free to leave them in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. And as always guys, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching. What's going on everybody, it's Joel here with as many reviews as possible, and today we're doing the first impressions of the Nike METCON 4. Alright everybody, so I just got my Nike METCON 4s in yesterday. I did a workout in them, I coached in them, I did as much walking around as I possibly could in these shoes so that I had enough information to go over a first impressions video with you guys today. Now once again, this is not going to be a full-on performance review, but I just wanted to go over some of the changes between the Nike METCON 4 and the Nike METCON 3 and answer some questions that you guys had asked me on my Instagram a little bit earlier in the day. me. So first off, let's start with the biggest change to the Nike METCON 4, and that is the new upper. It is this new fabric upper as opposed to the more kind of heavy duty mesh upper